SCP. Secure, Contain, Protect. SCP is the umbrella term for a community writing project stemming from a 4chan post in a paranormal forum in 2007. The original post was made by an anonymous user who was later identified as Wesley Moto42 Williams. Today, SCP has its own website, with over 7,500 catalogued objects and thousands more short stories. All of these pieces of writing circulate the SCP Foundation, a sort of shadow government organisation that specialises in finding and containing anomalous objects and entities. Their mottos best display this, the main one being the acronym Secure, Contain, Protect. The main one being the acronym Special Containment Procedures, and less known but equally understandable being We Die in the Dark, so you may live in the light. Now, of course this universe spans more than just the SCP Foundation, with many other groups like the Serpent's Hand and the Chaos Insurgency. As a community writing project, it's hard to explain the true expanse of the SCP Wiki, and that is why I'm starting this series. That's right, I'm going to be taking you on a journey through the SCP universe, mainly focusing on the expansive lists of items and entities with an occasional deep dive into a character or a tale. It's truly incredible the quality and quantity of works that are on this site, so let's give them the spotlight.
In a universe as vast as the SCP one, there are bound to be other organizations that spring up. The SCP Wiki has an entire page dedicated to various groups of interest for the Foundation, ranging from threats to possible allies. In the next few videos, I'm going to be sort of synopsizing these. There are a lot of them, so this will be cut into multiple parts. Alexsilva University is a strange organization that even the Foundation doesn't know too much about. The university is believed to reside within an alternate universe, where Latin and Greek cultures have dominance over the Western Hemisphere. Nothing is really known about any other part of this world, but university-related objects continue to be found around the mid-southern area of the United States, mostly in Tennessee, which leads the Foundation to believe that in this alternate universe, the university must be located around that sort of area. Many of the objects that are associated with the university have been recovered during postal transit from an agency known as Fitransimun Combine. The paperwork alongside these objects has shone light onto the place for which they come from. All that is known about the methods that transfer these objects is technology similar to the Einstein-Rosen bridge, a concept purely theoretical of contemporary science. A particular section of the university known as the Department of Natural Philosophy is considered responsible for the transferences, and this may be without the consent of the rest of the organization. Ambrose Restaurants is a chain of fine dining eateries in various public locations as well as several anomalous or extra-dimensional locations. These restaurants tend to specialize in anomalous food or anomalous culinary practices, and there's great variation in their style. Despite their scale, they tend to be non-hostile and instead flee when they are confronted. The restaurants are believed to be jointly owned by Chaz Ambrose and Marius, but due to lack of public appearances, this is unconfirmed. Notably, several other groups of interest tend to have relations with Ambrose Restaurants, although the extent to which they actually collaborate is unknown. As of current, Ambrose Restaurants are continuing to expand beyond the anomalous markets, and new locations are shut down regularly, with valuable information on Ambrose Restaurants being saved. Anderson Robotics is a company that specializes in creating anomalous androids, robots, artificial intelligences, and cybernetics. Anderson Robotics is led by Vincent Anderson, and the Foundation first heard about them in 2007 when they captured SCP-1360. Anderson Robotics very quickly gained a fair amount of traction in paratechnology. Whilst it was small, they had remarkable espionage capabilities and a surprisingly large resource base, which has made apprehending any employees difficult. Only a handful of Anderson products are currently in the hands of the Foundation, and the company as a whole remains somewhat a mystery. Arcadia was a video game development company that was driven by arcane occult technologies which relied on luck. Their popularity came at the expense of customers' exploitation and damnation without their knowledge. However, after the 1983 video game crash, and when the other world started collecting on unfulfilled promises, their popularity slowed to a crawl. In 1991, the company was bought out by Prism Projects Corporation, who revitalized their name under shady practices and behind closed doors. Today, nobody is exactly sure what they do, and rumors are the only knowledge most have. Some say that their longtime rival, the FBI UIU, have more than they're not spilling. Are We Cool Yet is an interesting group, comprised mainly of anomalous artists. Members of Are We Cool Yet either obtain or produce anomalous objects, usually in the form of art, and create public art installations. These installations are usually placed in order to attract the maximum public exposure, and can be fatal to bystanders depending on the exact nature of the anomalous entities and objects created. These installations always have the phrase, "Are we cool yet?" present in some way. The Black Queen is actually a person of interest, although it's unclear whether it is one person or multiple persons. She claims the given name, Alison Chow, the name of the daughter of researcher Dr. Gears and redacted Chow before Dr. Gears was recruited by the Foundation. The Black Queen has unusual knowledge of Foundation structure and activities, also knowing about the contained anomalies. The reason behind this knowledge is yet to be conclusively identified, but it appears to be gained partially through anomalous means. The Black Queen has repeatedly been able to breach Foundation security utilizing this information, and while conflicted reports exist of the Black Queen's activities and motivations, initial reports characterize her as malevolent, murderous, and destructive. While other reports do characterize her as neutral or benevolent, all intelligence indicates her hostility towards the Foundation. There are reports of the Black Queen's involvement with most major groups of interest, along with several world governments. Unverified sources claim that she is the same individual as the little sister of the Serpent's Hand. The reason for this unusual close connection is possibly due to the Black Queen's use of the Wanderer's Library. Intelligence indicates that there may be multiple other individuals also calling themselves the Black Queen, although the nature and origin of these individuals is inconclusive, and whether or not they have any relation is unknown. Perhaps the most infamous group of interest, the Chaos Insurgency, is a splinter group of the Foundation, created by a rogue cell that went AWOL with several SCP objects in 1924. Since then, the Insurgency has been a major player on the world stage, using the anomalies that it obtained for its own benefit. The Insurgency doesn't only deal in anomalies, but also in weapons running and intelligence gathering. The Insurgency makes use of authoritarian regimes in poor and developing countries, and often uses their populations in the same manner that the Foundation does Class D personnel. It helps to maintain the extreme poverty and war so that it can continue its radical experimentation, easy conscription of forces, and lucrative business deals with various opposing factions. Most of the anomalous objects possessed by the Insurgency are unknown. However, most of them were originally obtained by the Foundation and were then stolen by the original founders of the Insurgency. The objects that were stolen typically possess high potential for direct utility. However, there are some with less direct applications, but they are rarer. Their main base of operations is unknown, as are its current leaders. However, the organization is directly antagonistic to the Foundation, using deadly force to attempt to prevent Foundation containment of multiple anomalies. The Foundation has also been infiltrated by members of the insurgency in the past, resulting in the loss of valuable scientific data, theft of a number of anomalies, and deaths of personnel. Personnel are made to be aware of possible raids, terrorist action, and spies from the insurgency, and are to notify their superiors about any activities from fellow personnel fitting the insurgency behavioral profile. The Chaos Insurgency is by far the most direct opposition to the Foundation, and there have been a great many instances of direct conflict between the groups. The groups of interest in the SCP world really helps to sort of bolster it up. It really makes it feel more lived in, the fact that there are oppositions, and there are so many. While some of these aren't obviously direct oppositions, the ones I have spoken about today are. And whilst we get further, you'll see that this tends to be the case for a lot. I do love that the SCP Foundation, the Foundation themselves, are not morally good. So you can actually find yourselves somewhat associating with some of these other organizations. And when I say that the Foundation isn't morally good, it's very much the few for the many kind of thing. They are working towards good ends, usually, but their methods are definitely not ethical. In the next video, we will continue to look at more groups of interest, but for today, thank you for watching.